Juventus, who've already been to Australia and Hong Kong this summer, have legendary keeper Gigi Buffon back on duty. New signings Miralem Pjanic of Roma, Mehdi Benatia from Bayern Munich and Dani Alves from Barcelona start here, and £75 million Gonzalo Higuain is on the bench after his big move from Napoli. He's expected to feature later on. Juventus, champions of Italy for the past 5 seasons. And the man on the right of your picture there, Massimiliano Allegri, has done a wonderful job taking over from Antonio Conte, who of course is now operating in London at Chelsea. That's how we think it'll be tactically, John.
Well, you look at West Ham, you know, traditionally last season they played a back four. Nordfeldt, the big Norwegian, he can play. He'll sit in front of the defence today, give them that little bit of insurance, if you like. Noble and Cullen will look to get the ball forward, and Valencia and Fegoli, you know that Payet's going to come in for one of them two once the season starts. Will try and create for Carroll and make sure the big fella up front gets plenty of supply.
Suddenly Mandzukic is one who might be sold with Higuain's arrival. Anthony Taylor, Premier League referee, in charge, just to confirm that. Well, that's a familiar sight from 3.4 miles down the road. West Ham have gone all posh, haven't they, here?
Oh, well, I've got to say, I'm waxing lyrical over it, you know. The atmosphere, you know, it's, if anything, it's all as good as what I played in 20 years ago, you know, at West Ham, and I think they'll have no problems creating that atmosphere. Yes, you are a little bit further away from the actual pitch, but I'm sure that won't be a problem. I'm not too sure, Ian, whether you'll hear any West Ham fan being critical of this new stadium.
What they'll want to do, of course, to use the old cliche, is make it a fortress. It's not always easy to do that. Sometimes clubs do take time to settle in, everybody just trying to check where everything is. And I think you made a good point when we were chatting beforehand, John. Opposition teams might fancy this a bit more than Upton Park, where it can be quite intimidating.
Exactly. You know, you look at the teams that like to pass the ball, you know, Chelsea, Liverpool, them type of teams. They'll come here, they'll think, yes, big pitch, good atmosphere, and it may lift their players also. So that is a slight danger, but that's an issue for West Ham to deal with.
Italy's wonderful defensive trio of Bazzali, Bonucci and Chiellini not on duty yet after their summer exertions, but they've still got good players back there. Watch out for young Rujani wearing the number 24 shirt. They used him plenty, never frightened to use him. He's good for Italy under 21, and he's at the back there for Juventus today. There's Dimitri Payet. 3 goals at the European Championships, some wonderful contributions for France as they made the final, and they can't wait to see him back on duty for West Ham, and you can bet your bottom dollar that'll be at Stamford Bridge. Absolutely. Monday week.
Yeah, and I think he might well get 10-15 minutes today just to maybe get, you know, shake the cobwebs off, if you like. But you know, let's give West Ham some credit here as well. Big bids came in, understood, in the summer for Payet after the great Euros, managed to keep hold of their star man, so credit to them for doing that.
Is Asamoah for Juventus. Bonner doing the intercepting. It'll be a slightly strange feeling for him playing against Juventus, where he made 55 appearances. Very good, I thought, for West Ham last year, and that form was rewarded with a place in Italy's squad at the Euros, though he didn't break into the actual starting lineup. Here is Rujani. Quite happy to bring the ball out of defence. They do have the prolific Paulo Dybala up front alongside Mario Mandzukic. That would have been part of the usual starting lineup last season. Buffon as well. But really, in truth, only those three in what you'd call the first choice Juventus lineup. By the way, for West Ham United, Darren Randolph, who kept goal the other night and did very well for Ireland as well at the European Championships. He's not included today. He's got a little bit of a knock, and the same with Sheku Kouyaté as well. He scored 2 goals, including the first ever goal in the stadium the other night. So that's just precautionary. Here's Antonio looking to make some progress down the right-hand side after his wonderful first year with West Ham, including plenty of goals as well. Now then, Dybala. Mandzukic is there ahead of him. Dybala's the player down injured.
Yeah, just young Byram there, just a little bit eager. Actually, it's Nordfeldt it was that brings him down.
A new signing, how about Nordfeldt from Borussia Mönchengladbach? He helped them to place in this season's Champions League. They finished 4th in the Bundesliga. And he could be a useful man to have around as either a defender or defensive midfield player. This is Alexandro, the Brazilian, who was in London and made the final of the Olympic football tournament. Nice ball towards Dani Alves, one of those overlapping runs which we've become so accustomed to during his 8 years at Barcelona. Here's the classy Massimiliano Allegri, who's won the title in both of his seasons so far at Juventus, despite quite a slow start last season.
Yeah, well, they still managed to turn it around, but top manager, big fan of Allegri's.
He's not moving too easily, is it, Dybala? They won't take too much of a chance of them, you wouldn't have thought. Oh, there's Mandzukic with the header.
It's a great ball in, good movement from Mandzukic. I think he comes away from Reed, I think it is, who's marking him. Got to be tight at the players like Mandzukic, especially in the air, real threat, good head with the ball.
I was going to say they were lucky to get away with that with him, weren't they? They had plenty of space. Byram. So I think the rust was showing there. Mark Noble. Bound to be a bit of it.
The pitch, Ian, looks a bit sticky. It looks as if the ball is sticky. I don't know whether it needs to be watered, just to get that little bit of zip, that little bit of dew on the grass.
I didn't see it getting watered
just
before the
dry,
game.
doesn't it?
It does make a difference for the players. I like it slicked up. Asamoah. He's won it back again off Antonio. Alexandro. Noble breaks it up in the end for West Ham. There'll be a few clubs looking at this fella, won't there? Mario Mandzukic, fancying that Juventus might now be prepared to sell him if the money was right.
Well, yeah, of course, with Higuain coming in, he's much travelled though, Mandzukic, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich. He's a good player. I like him. The fact is, I've seen him play a few times and he's quite slight, he's tall, but he's ever so physical. He doesn't mind the physicality side of the game, and he'll give himself up for the team.
Here is Mandzukic. I think one or two reports that the long-running Paul Pogba saga may be coming towards its end with the £110 million deal and a possible medical in the next day or so.
Goes up every day.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
95 million on Friday.
That's inflation for you.
This is Pjanic on the ball now. He makes teams tick. If you look at the stats after games, he's generally the one who has most touches.
Dybala here. Looking to find Mandzukic. There he is, Miralem Pjanic. 10 goals in Serie A from midfield for Roma.
Technically excellent. Watched him play twice against Wales in the European qualifiers for Bosnia. Great little player.
And Roma finished third last season as well in Italy. In the swinger, Andy Carroll, back halving his defence and staying back to half his defence as well. He knows another one's coming in. Mandzukic, who played it in, and Noble, who hacked it away. West Ham haven't really got going in any meaningful way so far here at their new home. Dani Alves fronts to Lemina, and now Dybala. It's a quarter of a yard of space, Dybala. Here he is on the ball again. He's given that away to the new signing Feghouli, who's been showing up pretty well pre-season for West Ham United. A couple of goals as well along the way.
Yeah, West Ham have a problem. I mean, they can't get out at the minute. They're pretty much caved in their own third. Juventus having the lion's share of the possession. They're passing the ball around really well. That one goes out to play. But West Ham, Andy Carroll, they need to get bodies around him. There's no point just hoofing the ball up to Andy Carroll. The likes of Feghouli, Valencia need to start making runs in behind, turn the Juventus opposition.
There he is, Sofiane Feghouli, who's an Algerian, signed from Valencia. He played 21 times in La Liga for them last season. Arrives here on a free, having been 6 years with the Spanish club. Rujani was just caught in possession, and Sofiane Feghouli is down, isn't he?
Yeah, he just catches him there, he just stamps on him, but it's totally not intentional. Just comes down, actually not even looking at Feghouli there.
Never get later on, we've got the FA Community Shield, Leicester City against Manchester United, should be good. 3:15 BT Sport 2. And our Premier League offerings start with Manchester City against Sunderland next Saturday. We're on the air at 5 o'clock on BT Sport 1, and it's available too in 4K UHD. Byram, hacked away by Benatia. He's a useful player too. So he did very well with Roma the last time he was in Italy. He's been kind of on the fringes of things at Bayern Munich. Not a regular first choice player. And then Feghouli for the Hammers. Should be the goalkeepers, and it is. Almost the first touch for Gigi Buffon. Given the ball away there, Kalinic also played it forward, and Valencia's hit the post. Outside of the post, Anna Valencia. Nearly.
Yeah, good strike from Valencia. Cullen it is who plays the ball out to Valencia. Cullen actually then stands still. Valencia's looking for someone to square it to. There, carry on your run, Cullen. He's got no one to hit in the centre of the goal, so in the end he has to take a shot. Beats Buffon through his legs, hits the post. Decent effort, West Ham's first effort on goal.
Dani Alves towards Mandzukic, plays it back, Dybala, that'll be 1-0. Superbly finished, lovely move by Juventus. Having escaped at the other end, that was clinical from the Italian champions.
Yeah, really good goal from Juventus. 30 seconds prior to that, West Ham hit the post. It's Alves, sees Mandzukic pull off Reed. Dybala arrives perfectly, takes a touch. You can see Alves into Mandzukic, good front play, spots Dybala rather than on, times his run perfectly, and it's a really neat finish to the left of Adrian's goal.
36 seconds between West Ham hitting the post and Juventus hitting the net.
Well, they say that's when your concentration levels are at worst, when you've had an attempt and you've got to get back. Good break though from Juventus. Classy goal, Dybala.
Nice cushioned header down, which I know John Hartson would have appreciated.
That's
as
what
well.
he offers you. I said Ian 5 minutes ago, he gives himself up for the team, and by that, knocking balls down, taking it onto his chest, winning fouls in the final third, so the likes of Pjanic have opportunities to take dead ball situations. That's what Mandzukic gives you. A little bit different to Higuain. Two top players, and I think they'd have to, Mandzukic won't be happy not having a starting berth, but obviously they bought Higuain to play, to start for goals.
Yeah, they can't both play, I don't think so anyway. Which might mean that Mandzukic will be playing, but somewhere else, possibly anyway. We'll see. What a water to pass under the bridge, I think. before that deadline actually closes. Here is Mario Mandzukic again, the Croatian. Asamoah. And Benatia. Lemina. And Dani Alves. Trying to get another cross in here. Bonner doing the defending, but West Ham not terribly convincing at the back so far.
No, I'm just looking at West Ham, Ian. Other than Payet and one or two maybe Collins possibly, you know, they're pretty full strength. This is as strong as they can go, West Ham.
There's no Kouyaté, is there, who'd normally be in the midfield?
Kouyaté would play, of course.
And Lanzini too, yeah. As Dybala's in here again, and his Mandzukic, that'll be two, like shelling peas, wasn't it? West Ham ripped apart by the old lady of Juventus, 2-0.
It's that partnership again, this time is Dybala to Mandzukic. Simple finish, just have to lift it. It's good play. Good third man running. Dybala, Reed slips. It's unfortunate, can't do anything about that. The marking's not great at the back, but it's Reed. Winston Reed slips over there. Can't really justify that, really. You know, it can happen. It's a mistake, but a really good finish again from Mandzukic. And at this moment in time, it's Juventus that are totally controlling the match. They started the game better. They're having more possession. West Ham went up the other end, hit the post, Valencia. But other than that, you know, all the talk has been about how good and how organised Juventus really are.
And they've had a busy old schedule as well. They've been down to Australia, they played Melbourne, victory there. They beat Tottenham 2-1. Dybala scored in that one, by the way, as well. And they went to Hong Kong and beat South China by 2-1. So they're clocking up the air miles all right. Now, it might only be a friendly, but Slaven Bilic will want some signs that his key players are somewhere near concert pitch, ready for the Premier League season, which is only just around the corner, of course, now.
Well, of course, you know, the bigger picture is Chelsea next Monday night. You know, at Stamford Bridge, that is the bigger picture. But what, there's 52,000 fans here today. It's a little bit, you know, there's what, 2 or 3 that will come back in for West Ham for that first game next week, but other than that, you know, there's 7 or 8 out there that will start the game against Chelsea next week.
There's Mandzukic again. Juventus giving the impression that they're rather enjoying themselves in the sunshine here of East London. Rujani. Now Alexandro. Benatia. It'll be a battle for the places at the back. And everybody's back. I think Giorgio Chiellini is among the substitutes today. Gave an interesting interview in midweek. Somebody said, what's the secret of Juventus' continued success? His answer was work, passion, desire, humility, sacrifice.
Totally agree. Brilliant from Chiellini. That's what you need. They're the words. You know, desire, a will to defend properly, stop the ball going in your net. That's what you're there to do ultimately as a defender, not to run out with the ball. If you can do that, Stones, great. Rio Ferdinand, great. But in general, defenders defend. That's what you're paid for.
Here's Pjanic looking to set something up at the other end. Easy possession, no pressure on the ball at all from West Ham here, who do, to be honest with you, look pretty much in second gear.
Look as if there's a few tired legs out there. Let's not forget the weather. You know, I know it's the same for both teams, but it looks really, really hot. Again, Mandzukic here. Looking.
There might be another goal here. Pereira was the player arriving in the middle. It just didn't have enough pace across this slow turf to get to him. Dani Alves. No, then Feghouli. No way through. It's pretty cosy control, this, for Juventus.
Well, yeah, well, Cullen, Noble and Nordtveit have just got to get on the ball. West Ham just need 4 or 5 minutes possession with the ball. At the minute, they seem to be chasing shadows. But you work twice as hard, you know, when you're chasing the ball back. They've got it now with Valencia.
Who hit the post earlier on in competitive games on a bit of a scoring drought. Hasn't scored in the Premier League since January when he got a couple against Manchester City. Is a little bit of a question mark about whether he has an ongoing future with the club. It's been a little bit of a disappointment, but continues to fire for Ecuador.
Oh, he's certainly got talent. Valencia showed it several times last season. Maybe not enough, but I would think he's still a major part of Slaven's plans this season.
You remember that amazing goal he scored against Hull when he first arrived, off no backlift, and almost broke the back of the net from about 30 yards.
Great talent, he really has. And get Sacco's head back on it. West Brom move has fallen down. Another good player that West Ham need.
I think they wanted to get that deal done, though, probably West Ham, and move Sacco on, and it hasn't happened. Dybala looking to play the 1-2.
Great from Alves again. Look at the yards, you know, 40, 50 yards. Dani Alves just doing what we saw him do for Barcelona for many years. Played it inside to Dybala, and I'm thinking Dybala's clever enough there to get on the half turn and turn with the ball, and then look to face the play. Actually looks to put Alves back in the end it's a foul.
And goes Benatia with the header, the Moroccan international. Antonio, once of Tooting and Mitcham, and now appearing against Juventus. And it goes out of play. Well, on Tuesday we've got a tasty offering for you as Real Madrid face Sevilla, Champions League winners against the Europa League winners. That's 7 o'clock on BT Sport 2 for the UEFA Super Cup game, Real Madrid and Sevilla. And from Serie A, Juventus' opening game against Fiorentina. That's the 20th of August, 7:30 p.m. on BT Sport 2 for the legions of Juventus fans who follow all their exploits even from afar. Serie A is one of the leagues you can see all season on BT Sport, as of course is the Premier League. We have 42 games coming up for you.
Josh Cullen doing well there, winning the ball, looking to go forward, and correctly he's fouled. Good play from young Cullen.
Going to get a free kick on the edge of the area.
This is what they do, Juventus. Clever. Valencia gets in front, what's he do? Brings him down. You know, whenever his team brings him down. Knows it's a friendly, knows you can't get a yellow card. Clever.
Well, he can get a yellow card, but usually the refs keep him in their pocket, don't they?
Mr. Bryce, it'd have to be a really nasty one, I think.
I think Martin Atkinson didn't show one yesterday at Wembley. And
no, you don't often see them in pre-season friendlies.
That would have been one all week long, wouldn't it, in any competitive game? So Feghouli going to try to fizz this one. Not a problem for Buffon, who says he will retire after the 2018 World Cup when he'll be 40.
Oh, he's been some goalkeeper. Been lucky, played against him a few times and been on the winning end of that. Wales, Italy, 2003, we beat them in Cardiff. Buffon played, but he's had some career, hasn't he? He's had some career.
His debut for Italy was the best part of 20 years ago. It's astonishing. Retiring, he's just getting the hang of it, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with goalkeepers as well. Walter Zenga.
Yep, the new manager of Wolverhampton Wanderers.
He was Dino Zoff, and again he played until his 40s, didn't he?
How about that from Mandzukic? He's already scored and he's going through his party routine.
You'd tell he was stretching.
He didn't get one at the European Championships for Croatia, who were pretty impressive until they went out at the hands of the eventual winners, Portugal.
I was watching that game with my son, and he was disappointed because we were both hoping it would go to penalties and get a bit of excitement. And Portugal scored late in the second half of extra time, didn't they?
I'm surprised you were still awake.
Yeah, just about.
Dani Alves is caught in possession there. It might have been costly, but wasn't in the end. Sam Byram trying his luck.
Yeah, good effort from Byram. Makes a really good run. Alves looks as if he's got it covered. Poor touch. Don't know what he's trying to do. Trying to flick it over his head. Byram's onto it. Just nicks it, and it comes down nice for him. It's there to be hit. Just couldn't quite execute the volley.
Saving the blushes of Dani Alves, who arrives at Juventus after just the 19 trophies at Barcelona. Lemina. Played wide here for Alexandra, has got plenty of space and a few to aim at as well, and he's missed them all.
Yeah, not like he's got it, kept it in. No. Goal kick. Alexandra then, it's poor. He's got all the time in the world. He can take the ball actually further forward, but you expect better from a player of his quality.
Cullen to lay it back to Ogbonna. It's his first game, so he will need the minutes. You can expect mass changes later on. It always happens, of course, in these pre-season games. Here's Benatia. Might be a friendly, but West Ham do need to move up a gear a little, you feel. May be telling, I think, that competitive game they had against Dumjali the other night. It looked convincing enough, of course, but it wasn't until pretty late in the game they got that clinching goal that made it safe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bit of that in it.
Yeah, a little bit of tiredness is expected. You know what they've had Friday, they probably didn't do a lot Friday. Yesterday they might have sort of gone through set pieces and things, and then obviously straight into the game today, West Ham. So, you know, Andy Carroll's played a lot in pre-season. He's been very isolated today, Carroll. Not many balls have gone into him with any quality. He's had nothing to go for in terms of balls coming in from wide, which is his game. That's what Andy Carroll's all about, attacking crosses.
Of course, with Sam Allardyce now in charge of the England team, I wonder whether there might be an England career revival for him, and maybe an England start for Mark Noble, of course, with Sam having been recently at West Ham.
Absolutely, I would have thought when a new manager comes in, naturally he will change things accordingly, and obviously look to give players he knows very well and trusts opportunities. And you know, you look at Carroll and Noble in particular, two players that Sam knows very well from his days at West Ham. Wouldn't be surprised if they got opportunities.
Maybe Aaron Cresswell as well, if it's unfortunate injury. Carroll has forced it in. Buffon saved it first time. Carroll made sure he's hardly touched the ball, and now he's got a goal. 2-1.
Just alluded to it 30 seconds before it actually happened. The first ball with any real quality that Carroll's had to attack. This is what he does, Andy Carroll. He's the best in the country at attacking crosses. 6'5", he's unplayable when he put that type of ball in for him. Attacks the ball and he's really sharp. Buffon gets a hand to it, but there's only one place that's goal, and that's in the back of the net. Great header, Carroll. West Ham back in it.
It's his third pre-season goal as well, Andy Carroll. And he did finish last season with 6 in the last 9 Premier League games. I think the thing with him is they have to keep him fit. don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Quite a lot of absences.
And do you know what, Ian? We were talking before the game started about the amount of time, minutes on the pitch Andy Carroll's had in I don't think that's a bad thing for a player like Carroll who needs to stay sharp.
Here's Lemina for Juventus. Sam Byron will claim an assist on that goal, for what it's worth, in a pre-season friendly. Pereira to spread it wide. Lemina. I do fancy he was trying his luck with that, even from that angle. Took a save, he was travelling. He's got another go here. And it's not so good.
The thing is, if the goalkeeper left Lemina's shot and it goes out for a goal kick, he's actually put it back into play, Adrian, with the save, actually, with the block.
There's Carroll again. I think his goal has brought the crowd to life a bit. I really don't remember him touching the ball hardly at all, apart from a defensive header or two.
No, he's worked hard enough, you know. He's looked to close down, and with his body angles, he's looked to show the full-backs for Juventus down the line and inside, whatever they work on in training. That normally comes from a trigger from the likes of Feguli or Valencia, but it's very warm out there, and it's a very difficult position to play when you're up front on your own, looking to flick balls on, looking to get hold of it. But that would have been a joy for Andy Carroll. That's what he does. You know, he attacks crosses, but when you put the ball into him with real quality, there really isn't a better sight, and there's nobody better.
You have him in the England squad, in a word?
I'd have him in the squad, definitely. I think, you know, in terms of aggressive headers of the ball, he'll go and attack it. If you've got 5 or 6 minutes to go, if you're not going to start him, who better, you know, to come on and to get a flick on. Even defensively, we've seen him head a few headers out defensively, so he's very, very good. I would certainly have him in the squad.
Free kick for West Ham United. Noble playing it for Carroll's won another header.
That's what he does. He bullies defenders, bullies them in a fair way. And he's great for him.
He's getting a huge round of applause just for warming up, Dimitri Payet.
He's magnificent. He really is top draw, is Dimitri Payet. Brilliant Euros for France.
I think he was great in the group stage. He faded a bit, didn't he, and started to get subbed as the tournament went on.
Yeah, he did. But he still, you know, in a split second, he can take a free kick. You know, he scored a couple of last-minute goals, and I was surprised actually when Deschamps took him off. You know, I think you've got to keep him on for that little bit of genius that he's got.
We certainly needed it in the final. And then this is aimed towards Mandzukic again. He's got the other side of Winston Reid. The movement clever of those two, Dybala and Mandzukic, and at times West Ham have struggled to cope with it. They're both on the score sheet. Dani Alves. Mandzukic! Goalkeeper made the save. I think Mandzukic would have wanted to head that back across him, wouldn't he, John?
Took the words out of my mouth here, and it's a really deep ball. Mandzukic again pulling away, really been a problem for Reid all afternoon. Good ball in, good pace on it, and you've got to head it back where it come from. And he'll know that himself. He's normally a terrific header of the ball, and Adrian just gets a hand. Stop it going in his near post.
Dybala to take the corner kick. Down by Lemina. Mandzukic was in there, and they've hit the underside of the bar there. Benatia it was. Adrian punches it away in the end. How did West Ham not concede there?
Well, they can't mark like this, Ian. Once the Premier League comes, you can make excuses for the pitch. You can make excuses for it being dry. But you can't defend like that. In the end, Juventus, crossbar post. Great save from Adrian, but the marking's poor when the ball came in from a corner.
And off the line as well from Carroll, and the bar struck. It stays 2-1. Goal for Andy Carroll, and this block on the line coming up.
Free header. Again, Mandzukic free, nobody marking.
Benatia off the bar.
Stuff to work on defensively for West Ham. Set pieces.
Benatia's already scored in this pre-season, even though he's being used at the back. Antonio, it's a poor ball from him, no problem at all for Juventus. Landing somewhere around where they had the javelin, I guess, at the Olympic Games.
What's that, about 82 metres, is
I
it?
think they've cleared up all the spike marks now, haven't they? From the shot puts on.
No, I think that's one thing you can't say, other than it looks a little bit dry. You know, maybe he could have done with that little bit of being watered, sprayed before the game. Helps the players. We've seen a few balls today being passed and just getting held up, you know, in the grass. That's simply because it's not been watered, and it's very hot out there as well.
I'm watching on a sellout crowd here. West Ham United, astonishingly, have sold 52,000 season tickets for this stadium, and there's a huge waiting list as well.
Big club here, and they're starting to think, you know, like a big club now, coming into a new stadium. There's finances there for their manager. They pay big wages. They will keep players like Payet. There's more to come, I'm sure, if not this season. Look at the window when it opens in January.
They might not have to wait that long. They're after a striker as well. Been a lot of talk of getting Carlos Bacca, the very good Colombian from AC Milan. He doesn't seem in any hurry to make that move, but he would be a fantastic
There's
buy.
Also Ayew.
Yeah, well, I think that's nearly done. I'm told.
Yeah, forgive me for mentioning it. The Swansea City fans, my hometown. Ayew's been great for Swansea. They decided, it looks like 20 million will prize him away to West Ham.
Here's Pjanic, who's been quiet so far, without making any mistakes or anything like that. Yeah, that I think Slaven Village, talking to Chris Hollins before the game, said the Andre Ayew deal is just about done. So that'll be another option that they'll have, West Ham United, but they do want to get a striker in, an out-and-out striker.
See, you know, that's a booking. I think the ref's got a booking. You know, he's got to sort of set the template, if you like. I know we say bookings and that, but you know, this is cynical for me. He's away. Valencia's away. I'm just.
Well, if the players know there's no punishment for it, they're going to do that, aren't they?
That's when the referee's got to step in, Ian.
I think it's like Amnesty International, isn't it? Almost a footballing version. These friendlies.
Here it is.
Here's Dybala. Lovely first touch for him. Got him away from the defender. Change of pace as well. Picks up Mandzukic. Switched wide to Alexandro. All the old gang have been back in training with Juventus this week, with the notable exception of the excellent midfield player Claudio Marchisio, who missed the European Championships with an injury. He's still training on his own, trying to get himself back to fitness. So good luck with that important player. It's Ogbonna. Making a little bit of a meal of the clearance, to be honest with you.
There's just things that, as I said, West Ham, Slaven Bilic, you know, he looks frustrated figure down there, hands in his pocket, sort of tutting around, if you like. Just things there like Ogbonna, just that wouldn't happen in a Premier League game. It'll just go out, you know, just that little bit of sloppiness. And instead now West Ham face a corner with a minute to go of the half. Dangerous situation.
Which Dybala will take. It's not quite like Harry Kane having taken corners for England.
What was all that about, by the way?
I don't think anybody really knows, do they? I think even Maurizio Pochettino.
Yeah, but if I'm Harry Kane and I score goals like he does, I'm not wanting to take them. Doesn't matter, Roy Hodgson. Doesn't matter. Manager, you tell the manager, no, I'm a centre forward, I'm a goal scorer. I don't want to take corners or free kicks. Unless they're around the edge of the 18-yard box, of course.
Here's Daniele Ruggiani. Again, I saw him playing for Italy at the European Under-21s, and he was pretty immaculate. They loaned him out to Empoli for a season, and he was ever present and pretty brilliant.
He hasn't put a foot wrong today, to be fair. He looks a good physical size, doesn't he? 6'2", looks an athlete. He's done really well. Really impressed with Ruggiani at the back for Juventus. And to think of the quality of defenders they've got to come back in as well.
Yeah,
that's one area where they don't struggle. Juventus is defensively.
It's almost frightening, but the Italian clubs in truth didn't make much impression in Europe last season, which was a bit of a worry. They were rather better as a national side, a bit unlucky with the draw, I thought, at the Euros. Alexandro, that's too near to Adrian, who nearly dropped it like, well, slip fielder in the test match.
Just a bit too much pace on the ball from Alexandro there. Straight into Adrian's arms. There you go.
There it is, half-time then, with Juventus ahead, and deservedly so. Slaven Bilic will obviously be planning a few changes at half-time. Paulo Dybala with the first for Juventus, beautifully taken, and then Mario Mandzukic with another one until Andy Carroll, in typical barnstorming fashion, his header was blocked, but he forced it in anyway, and West Ham are back in the contest here at this official opening of their brand posh new stadium here in East London. Half-time down here, West Ham 1, Juventus 2 has made way. We'll try to keep you up to date with all the changes. There are plenty, so you'll forgive us if we miss the odd one or two, because players get moved on and off the pitch quite rapidly in these friendlies at this time of the year, and the pitch has been watered, you'll be pleased to learn, John, at half-time.
I can't believe they didn't water it before the game. We were up in the commentary area, Ian. We never saw them water it, and it did look very sticky, didn't it, and dry in that first half. So yeah, lots of water on in the half-time break. So that might give a little bit of zip, a little bit of dew, which players like. Yes, it tests your touch, but players like that. Ball's played in nice and firm.
There was some water, I'm told, put onto the surface before the game. I think your point was a good one. It did look like the surface was quite slow. Here's Ruggiani for Juventus, who lead by 2-1. They were 2 up until Andy Carroll struck back for West Ham United. If West Ham hadn't conceded 2 minutes from the end at Stoke in the last game of last season, they wouldn't have even had to play a qualifier in the Europa League, and this really would have been the first game in the stadium.
That's Burke.
Going to play Astra Juju again, who knocked them out last year.
Burke gone straight into right back. Ian, is that right? Straight to right back, Burke.
Yeah. Neto in goal now, has taken over from Gigi Buffon. He's been playing most of the friendlies up till now for Juventus. Brazilian in his second season, only made 3 appearances in the league last year. Very much the number 2 to Buffon, who the esteemed magazine France Football say is the best goalkeeper of all time. You're thinking Neville Southall, aren't you? I can see it as a Welshman.
Wouldn't really argue with that. There's a couple like, David Seaman, Big Nev. What magazine? Where are they from?
France Football.
France Football.
Yeah. There's Aaron Cresswell. Luckless for him, in more or less ever present since he joined the club. And he's out for 4 months with that knee injury. And that is a miss, and it will mean, and we heard Slaven Bilic confirm it just before the game, that Arthur Masuaku is going to be signed from Olympiacos imminently. This deal is close to being done. It's good of Slaven Bilic to let that information go in our live interview. There's Higuain's first involvement in a Juventus shirt. Cut out by Reece Oxford, he's on as well. He's the youngster who started the first Premier League game last season at Arsenal and did brilliantly as West Ham won away to set out their stall.
Yes, he did. Lots of West Ham fans will remember that performance. He was absolutely outstanding, wasn't he, young Oxford? Never saw an awful lot of him then, though, did we? Throughout the Premier League, whether Slaven thought physically maybe wasn't ready, but I think we'll probably see more of him this season for sure.
Pjanic to take the corner kick. Lemina got there first on the near post and couldn't make any meaningful contact. Here's Asamoah, who was a regular and big player for Juventus and then got injured, and Patrice Evra has kept the place. Not been playing that much, really. Lemina, Dybala. When Dybala was bought, a lot of people thought he might be the player who was in and out of the side, but he forced his way in 19 Serie A goals. I did him a disservice, said there were a couple ahead of him in the scoring charts in Serie A last season. In fact, it was only Higuain who was ahead of him.
Yeah, well, Dybala showed signs in the first half today alongside Mandzukic. Linked up really, really well, scored a goal, made a goal. And it'll be interesting now to see, I know it's early doors, nothing will be decided today, but to see how he plays now with Higuain, who's a totally different player to Mandzukic. Higuain will look to run down the side. Yes, he looks to hold it up as well. He's maybe more of a poacher, if you like. But it's just interesting to see how Dybala links up with him now in the second half.
It's Antonio. Cut out by Rujani.
Ian, I wasn't the slightest, right, and I wasn't the prettiest to look at in shorts, right? But Higuain looks heavy. He looks heavy. I think maybe, he does.
Yeah, well, maybe there's a pound or two to lose. I'm going to leave that kind of comment to you, I think.
Well, listen,
John.
as I said, it's total hypocrisy coming from somebody like myself. But, I think he's got a little bit to get off there, if I'm honest.
Well, your family's saying nice things about you in shorts. Don't worry, John. Here come Juventus again, looking to engineer an opportunity. Dybala couldn't quite keep it down. He was aiming for that top corner.
Yeah, it's Alexandro runs down, comes inside, can't quite get the shot away. It's Dybala again. Decent effort. Just always rising for me there, always just rising over the bar, but a really good attempt from Dybala, who's been a threat all game.
Yeah, my money would have been on him to put that away.
But it's naturally on that left side as well, so if you're going to be critical, may well have done better.
Here's Valencia. Carroll, for some reason wide, almost with chalk on his boots on the right-hand touchline. See if they can get more crosses in for him. That's definitely a foul, isn't it, by Alexandro on Valencia. That's another one will be a yellow in a normal game.
This is what we don't do. I think we've got to do it better in this country. Just cynical, clever, old school, if you like. He knows he's beat. Alexandro knows he's beat. Pulls him back. No yellows in the friendly games.
That's what you want to see, is it? You want to see a bit more nastiness.
Bit. Not nastiness, but clever. Good teams do it. See games out.
Here comes this ball in. Carroll's attacking him again! And he scores again too! Juventus' defence could not cope with him. Carroll having a bit of a field day, and poor old Neto, who's come on to replace Buffon, first thing he has to do is pick it out the back of the net.
Yeah, it's just a decent ball, in-swinger if you like, from Mark Noble, and Carroll gives his man a little shove, gets away with it, uses his strength. Benassia, he shoves away from him, as you can see just there, and he powers in another great header. An unplayable Carroll when he goes and attacks the ball like that. 2 goals to the good, Andy Carroll. West Ham back in it, 2-2.
Remember, Andy Carroll got a hat-trick in 7 minutes and 14 seconds last year against Arsenal. The people who keep a check on such things, I wouldn't know myself at all, say that is the 5th fastest Premier League hat-trick ever scored. I think Sadio Mane has the quickest one, doesn't he? 2 minutes and 56, I think, off the top of my head.
Still room for a big man in the modern game, Ian, that's what I'd say.
You're pleased to hear that, aren't you?
Still very much room for the big centre-forward in the modern day game. If you get the right ball into him with the quality, get the right players around him.
Yeah.
Andy Carroll, very, very effective when you play to his style. And Václav and Bilic using him quite a lot in pre-season. Maybe the signs are there that Andy Carroll will play a lot for West Ham in this current season coming up, which is an important one for them. 7th last season. They want to try and improve on that.
Alexandro trying to make headway. I think Andy Carroll's going to come off to a standing ovation in a minute. I think there might be, there's no hat-trick today. You're going to keep his powder dry for the big business ahead.
Yeah, he's been great, Andy Carroll. He gets a rapturous applause here. West Ham fans are excited at seeing how Andy Carroll goes for the start of the season, and it's really good, Ian, to see him fit, lean, strong. 2 goals today, excellent. How long have we played? 54 minutes. Excellent, Andy Carroll, well done.
And I'm sure there'll be a few people sitting at home who'll be thinking, well, could he have been of use for England?
Absolutely.
At the European Championships in, say, the last quarter of an hour against Iceland. So on has come Ashley Fletcher, who's arrived from Manchester United. It's a 4-year deal with West Ham. He did well with Barnsley last season. In fact, scored twice at Wembley. Once in the playoff final, once in the Johnstone's Paint Trophy final.
Well, he looks a physical presence, doesn't he? He looks mobile. He's a good 6-footer. Young, been at Barnsley, now at West Ham. What a chance to really kick on in terms of his career. Somebody like Andy Carroll to learn from. Payet, these other superstars, Mark Noble being a great professional. Really good opportunity for young Fletcher to come to West Ham and learn and hopefully be a part of it.
It looked like Juventus were going to spoil the housewarming party a little bit today, but West Ham United have come back thanks to Carroll's goals.
I think it looked that way, didn't it? You know, Juventus were 2-0 up. They were pretty much in control of the game. They were dominating possession. 2 goals, 2 decent balls into the box. Andy Carroll double, and all of a sudden the crowd have had a little bit of a lift here. The noise levels have risen slightly.
Here's Burke, and on at half-time. It's almost a privilege and a pleasure for a young player, isn't it, to play against Juventus. Dybala. Noble. Here's Antonio, who's come out to the left-hand side, having started the game at right back, now playing like a left winger.
The lino on the far end's given offside here. I didn't see that. Did you see that from me?
No, not really. I think it caught the West Ham players a little bit by surprise as well, John. Yeah. Don't forget, BT Sport is the place to be today, because we do have the Community Shield coming up for you later on as Leicester City face Manchester United, champions, of course, against FA Cup winners. Alexandro. Good determined run. I think it just went out of play in the end, didn't it? Yeah. So players like him are really playing for their places this season, Alexandro.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah, and you know, he's done quite well. I think once or twice when he's been in decent positions, his quality of cross could have been a little bit better. But Burke got back really well there. Just put him off.
Nordtveit. Got a hard job in there, sitting in front of the defence today, because Juventus have had a lot of clever players operating in that area, with Dybala dropping deep and being creator as well as goal scorer. A whole lot of other changes coming up here by Juventus. Chiellini, I can see, is one of those coming on, and Barzali, the two Italian international defenders. And Marco Piazza, the young flyer from Croatia, exciting player wearing the number 20 shirt. He'll be coming on too. They've only been back training for a week, the Italian international players. Dybala's coming off as well here now, keeping him in cotton wool, and with good reason as well.
Well, that's the whole idea, you know, the substitutes coming on, having a little half an hour, even these substitutions, and just getting a little bit of the feel of the ball, some minutes on the pitch. Some have played longer than others, of course, but I'm sure Allegri will monitor the situation, and whoever's not played as much will maybe do a little bit extra training this week.
Mark Noble, I wondered how long they'd play him. Remember, these players did have the Europa League game on Thursday night, so they're never going to play 90 today. Another player who's come on for Juventus is Joel Untersee, one of the youngsters. So it's all changed. New chorus line out there now. It's almost like another game.
Yeah, I'm leaving all the substitutions to Ian, as long as you know that, the means.
Just to recap that the Paul Pogba deal to Manchester United does look as if it's nearly complete. A fee of 110 million, they're saying now, as John was saying, it seems to rise every time you hear medical any time, and presumably Manchester United might be in a position to announce the deal sometime this midweek. But we've been saying that for a little while, haven't we? I guess it's a complicated deal, isn't it? There's a lot of clauses and agents, operations to be sorted out.
Yeah. Well, Harry touched on it earlier. Harry Redknapp, or Harry himself, would have been involved in many transfer deals, and you know, everything has to be right. Higuain, they're just caught offside as I'm talking about Paul Pogba's ridiculous £110 million fee. Agents, you know, whether it's paid in lump sums, whether it's all paid in one sort of hit. So there is lots of things to be assured before the deal happens.
16-year-old Domingos Quina is one of those players that West Ham United have brought on here. He's from Portugal. They got him from the Benfica youth system. He isn't 17 until November. Featured in both legs from the bench against the Slovenian side, Domžale. So he's an interesting one, isn't he? 16.
He is, yeah. Credit to him. Very young. Let's hope he can get himself into the game and have some touches on the ball for his confidence. He started right central midfield there, where Mark Noble would normally play.
Untersee. Here's Higuain. Not too much of a looking so far. Just getting the feel of things in a Juventus shirt. Chiellini's lovely little chipped ball. And Alexandro's cross. Can they take advantage here? Higuain was waiting in the middle there, hoping for his first Juve chance.
Better defending though from West Ham, closer to their men, stopping crosses at source. One there which was blocked, and it's Nordtveit there that makes sure that the Juventus don't get the ball easily, like what happened in the first half, into that West Ham penalty area. Better defending from West Ham.
You have a corner to defend here now. Chiellini was attacking it. He did score at the European Championships Chiellini. That was Ontase's effort that was blocked. Here's Kida. It's inevitable when you get all these substitutions that the rhythm of the game can sometimes take a little bit of time to re-establish itself.
Yes, it can, and you know it can turn into a testimonial type of atmosphere, but not today. You know, it's 2-2. There's still a lot to play for. Players are playing for starting berths, and you know Juventus still have an extra week. They're an extra week behind West Ham in terms of their preparation. So, and it's 2-2. It's a good game. The fans are enjoying it. So I still feel it's not turned into that testimonial atmosphere, and it still looks very competitive.
Antonio, powerful figure. He got some important goals last season. Some pretty juicy headers among them as well. It's good in the air.
Yeah, he gets himself forward, doesn't he? He was a real threat at times for West Ham last season.
Ontase. To Lemina. Bazzali across to Chiellini, the old firm there at the back, except Leonardo Bonucci. He's been given a little bit of extra time, and of course he keeps getting linked with the move to Manchester City. Bonucci, I'll tell you what, if they got him, you'd fancy them for the title, wouldn't you? If they had Bonucci at the back.
Could fancy them anyway, couldn't you?
Yeah, well,
Man City with the work.
I fancy them more with him.
Yeah, strong defender, Bonucci. Yeah. They've spent some money as well, again, haven't they, to add to what they've got, Man City.
There's no way Juventus will want to let him go, though. No, not really.
It's nice to look at these players, Ian, and see, yeah, they're great players, you know, they'll do great for this club, that club, but they're not cheap. And that's the problem. The best players will go for serious money these days.
Yeah. And there is quite a bit of it about in this Premier League these days, and especially this season. It's gone up considerably, of course.
And obviously now Paul Pogba as well raised the bar in terms of transfer fees.
So it would appear, yeah.
2 or 3 years' time, somebody will beat that.
From Juventus again, trying to just engineer something. It's Pjanic looking to chip it through. Another player Juve do have on the bench is the winger Simone Zaza, who's probably still a bit embarrassed about his penalty in France in the summer. Ball does stay in play.
Well done, referee.
Good play by Reece Berg. Nordtveit. It is going to be, I think, a supercharged atmosphere, isn't it, for West Ham's first league game at Stamford Bridge on a Monday night, with Antonio Conte's first game in charge of Chelsea just mixed into it.
It certainly is. West Ham just going across London. Night kickoff. Chelsea West Ham. What an opening game.
Burke. Here's Fletcher. Oh, the West Ham fans getting their first view of him. Sorry, John.
Sorry, just saying Chiellini, their master. Just a master at this. Winning the foul, buying the foul off the referee. Experience. Just can't beat it, can you?
Chiellini cost Juventus £4.9 million 11 years ago. What a player he's been for them.
You mentioned old school defenders earlier on.
I think Payet we may see before we're through here today. Just give him a few minutes, no more than that. Ontase. Cut back, it's easily dealt with by Collins. Lamina, who's shown up pretty well in that midfield for Juventus today. Didn't start the Coppa Italia final, which Juventus won that as well. They did the double in Italy last year. Pereira to play it through, and nothing doing for Higuain. He's been quiet, in truth, since he was introduced.
Big Ginge, James Collins, done well since he's come on. He's just brought that little bit of, defensive steel into that West Ham back four. He'll go and head it all day long, Ginge, in both boxes.
Simone Zaza, the aforementioned Zaza, he's coming on, and so too is the Brazilian midfield player Hernanes. Asamoah makes his way off. His job done for the day. Yeah, Zaza's penalty for Italy against Germany was the one where he jogged on the spot.
It was like as
for
if
about 20 times.
Like as if he was putting his feet through them rings, wasn't it?
Yeah, there he is.
If he'd scored, though, he wouldn't have got a mention.
Nope.
Oh, when you're going to do a run up like that, Ian, you've got to score.
Yeah, but he didn't.
He didn't.
And Italy went out, and that I think that was the penalty shootout that showed that Germany are not necessarily supermen from the spot. They still won. Yeah. 2-2 as Pjanic picks up the ball. Tries to find Higuain. That might happen a few times this season, but he'd rather carelessly got himself on the wrong side, and he's not happy. Not happy, Higuain, that's given. Oh.
So I like to see a little bit of passion when you're 85 million pounds, whatever you are. What was it? 75 million, 90 million
75.3 million it is, John.
So that's 90 million euros. 75.3 million pounds.
Makes him the third most expensive footballer of all time, behind Gareth Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo, and the most expensive South American, and of course the most ever paid by an Italian club. Probably a few other records I don't know about as well.
If I was him, I'd be sending a thank you card to Paul Pogba.
Yeah. Chiellini looking to slide one through. The layoff was from Hernanes. Crosses towards Zaza. West Ham United defending that okay. Bit of honour restored for West Ham, because Juventus were sort of wiping the floor with them at 2-0.
They were, and at 2-0 you're thinking, well, a little bit worried, here for West Ham. Not playing well, not passing the ball. And then we see a fantastic ball come in for Carroll. And in the second half, Noble whips in a free kick and Carroll gets a second. So
Valencia got Antonio to aim at, and it bounces away for a corner kick. Don't forget, we've got the Community Shield, Leicester against Manchester United today at 3:15 on BT Sport 2, available too on 4K UHD. And Real Madrid Sevilla Tuesday 7 o'clock, the Super Cup final. Should be a good game, that. It was a 5-4 I think last year, that game. Nordveit, Collins with the header on. Fletcher, must be offside, had to be offside. I think every single person in the stadium could have called that one.
Yeah, I just think it was Michael Antonio was just standing in an offside position. Is it Antonio? Yeah, just clearly offside.
Just the 3 yards in it.
Just a bit.
Close. So Payet's going to come on imminently. The West Ham United fans, he really is a massive cult figure in this part of the world, and with good reason too, after his exploits last year, most notably with just brilliant free kicks. Byram to chip this one in behind, hoping Michail Antonio can get onto it.
A real shot in the arm for the West Ham fans, keeping hold of Payet.
Good work there for Michail Antonio. Keena. Byram. And Juventus can do something here maybe. Higuain. Got Zaza up there with him. And just ran into a heap of trouble in the end. Into the hero.
Yeah. One of the best players in the world, Payet. Incredible player. Genius-like at times, what he can do with the ball at his feet. What was he in? 11 million from, was it 11 million?
Yeah, around that, from Marseille.
Yeah, which looks a snip, doesn't it, when you think 75 million Higuain. Just over £10 million. Massive bonus. West Ham keeping hold of Payet in the summer. Fans are delighted. Some of the goals that he scored last season, some of the goals that he made. I'm a huge fan. Massive for West Ham.
Also coming on is Martin Samuelsson, who was on loan at Peterborough last year. He's an elegant player that does take the eye. Formerly in Manchester City's youth system going back. So he's out there as well, not wearing the number 42 shirt. I hope you're keeping up to date with all these changes, because we'll be asking some questions later. Zaza's effort deflected behind. Incidentally, 2-2, 74 minutes. This could be a penalty shootout at the end. That's what they're going to do if the scores are level after 90 minutes. No extra time or anything like that. Nobody wants that. Ananes will take this corner kick, part of Big Phil Scolari's Brazil squad when he was in charge. Chiellini was waiting to let the header go. That might be a penalty, is it? No, Anthony Taylor had a good look and said, no, not going to give that one. It was Piazza who went down.
I'd like to see it again, Ian. I think we've seen them being given, saying that was quite far away here from where we stand in to the pitch. Just waiting to see a replay if we get one.
So many substitutions, by the way. Our very brave producers have had a go here at naming the teams as they are out on the pitch at the moment. Lewis Page is another player who's come on for West Ham United. Byram. Higuain with the little layoff. Then Lamina. He's the Argentinian striker again, because he had that big chance in the World Cup final, didn't he, as well? Higuain had that gone in, it might have been a different story. As it was, Germany went on to win in Brazil. Nordtveit, nicely done. Here's Payet's first involvement. Little buzz every time he gets the ball. Fletcher now. Keena. Reece Burke to come on. And here's Payet again. It was only on July the 10th that he was playing in the final of the European Championship. So, nice holiday. And then they've had him back in at work, doing a little bit of work, but he'd only be fit to play 10-15 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's no break really, is it? No break this summer for Payet. That's why I think Slaven Bilic is looking to ease him in this season.
Could be that not all the players would be looking forward to a penalty shootout at the end of this.
This shouldn't
Fans might, though.
I think what's been positive, Ian, today for West Ham, from my point of view, is the likes of Burke, Quina, Page, Sam Wilson, Fletcher. People at home, people watching, listening and you wouldn't have seen an awful lot about them.
Have a look at this penalty shout again. Is this Piazza? Is that a penalty? Looks like it, doesn't it?
I think there's contact. Oh, I don't know.
That's the youngster.
Being as it's
Gina,
a friendly, I think he's looking for it as well. He's looking for it.
It's only a good shout. He's glad it wasn't given. West Ham, by the way, wearing this special commemorative kit, if it looks a little unfamiliar to you. And this is the official opening day of their brand spanking new stadium. They only had to pay £15 million towards the conversion cost, and as we were saying, £2.5 million rent a year. It is a fabulous deal for West Ham United, which may mean they could kick on and become the elite clubs in England, possibly financially anyway.
That's brilliant from the owners. Brilliant from the people that run West Ham to have got such a good deal there. There'd be lots of other clubs very envious of what West Ham have achieved in terms of the price and everything they've got the stadium for. But good on them. They were first in, they were proactive, they got the stadium done.
It's Alexandro getting the ball in, and Zaza was closing in on it. Chiellini to spread it wide. Up goes Zaza, he won the header. It's Reece Oxford who got it away for West Ham. Still only 17, Reece Oxford. Of course, Manchester United especially have been interested in signing him, but West Ham will want to keep him.
Well, him and Collins have done excellent in the second half, kept the clean sheet so far. West Ham got back into the game. Looked really solid as a defensive pairing, as Oxford against Higuain as well, and Zaza. No mugs for opposition.
Reece Burke. Chiellini to cut it out. Ten minutes to a penalty shootout, unless somebody can come up with a winner. Zaza did well to win that. There has been some transfer speculation surrounding Simone Zaza. It tends to happen around a lot of players, of course, at this time of year. West Ham are one of the clubs who've been linked with him, but they're not the only ones. Hernandez, back to Bazali. Player who also won a title in Germany when he went to Wolfsburg for a while. Piazza looking to make progress down that left-hand side. He's already made a nuisance of himself. The 21-year-old Croatian has arrived from Dinamo Zagreb. He's an interesting character. His mum was a judo champion and his dad a wrestler.
Well, not to mess with him then, would you?
He certainly wouldn't.
Got the genes, hasn't he?
I suppose if he'd chosen that kind of route, he could have ended up at the Olympic Games now. That's rattled the woodwork. Decent effort there.
Barzagli.
It was Hernandez who hit it, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah. Another change here for West Ham United. Bring on Marcus Brown, the 18-year-old midfield player. He was on the bench a couple of times last year. Been at the club since he was 8. Josh Cullen, who makes way. There's David Sullivan. There's David Gold's sidekick as West Ham joint chairman. They were saying this club is worth now a heck of a lot more money than they paid for it.
I can believe it. I can absolutely believe it.
Samuelson, no way through for him. Both the players are mentally settling a little bit here for the draw. Chiellini had one or two things to say. It's really the old soldier of that defence and the man who marshals things. It's a Payet free kick. Apart from scoring with free kicks last year, he set up a few with great deliveries, and that's Nordtveit with the header.
Yeah, a little bit under hit this one from Payet, who's got great delivery as we've seen. Bit under hit. Nordtveit just have to arch his neck back and can't find the target. Difficult header.
Well, how much will Slaven Bilic have learnt today, John, do you think?
Well, he learned a little bit about his younger players. I don't think he would have taken the game. You know, I don't think he's through.
Is Zaza just break off for a moment? He can win it for Juventus, and maybe he has with that goal. Simone Zaza emphatically finish, and Juve lead 3-2 now.
Yeah, West Ham defence. It's Zaza with the goal. West Ham defence just switch off for a minute. Zaza just runs off the back of James Collins. Oxford can't quite get there. Left foot slots it past Adrian in the West Ham goal. Good finish. Never really looked like missing. Good strong left foot finish into the far left hand corner. Juventus took the lead.
It was one ball beats all, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it was. It was a good run, very clever run. Just pulls off the back of James Collins, who has been excellent in the second half for West Ham.
Higuain, who loved one, of course, to mark his first appearance.
I'll go back to what you said, Ian. I think he's got stuff to work on. Slaven Bilic defensively, certainly set pieces, but I don't think it'll be a case of, you know, get them in the dressing room and sort of, you know, run the rule by them, and they did this wrong, that wrong. They had a great season, 7th last year. They'll want to better that this season, of course. I think they're well equipped to do it. Ayew potentially coming in. You know, kept Payet. Carroll looked good today. Lots of positives, but one or two things to work on as well, I would think, from Slaven Bilic.
Lewis Page, who we thought was on the pitch earlier, really is on now.
Was a good finish from Zaza, wasn't it? Took it really well.
Yeah, he did.
Very confidently.
And he just wished he could have done something like that from a bit closer in
12 yards.
With that penalty. Here he is chasing this one as well. Reece Oxford doing the covering. They used him as a holding midfield player that day at Arsenal. In fact, he started the first 2 Premier League games last season and only one after that, the rest of the campaign. Maybe Slaven Bilic thought not quite ready, as good as he is.
No, maybe looked at him physically and took him out straight away after that and used him then not as frequently maybe as what the supporters expected, because expect big things from him, of course, but he's clearly a good player. You know, he's a physical presence, he defends well, and he will only get better. He's a real asset for West Ham.
Juventus have made another change and brought on the 18-year-old midfield player Grigoris Kastanos, who is from Cyprus. This is Maček, young Czech Republic player. And Kastanos involved straight away, couldn't quite latch onto the end of that. Juventus 2-0 ahead, and now maybe crucially 3-2 ahead with just a couple of minutes to go. is Maciek again. He's had his injury problems. Hard for him to really establish himself.
I think it's been a good exercise, Ian, for both teams. I think they've both had lots out of it fitness-wise, and the performance of Dybala and Mandzukic in the first half would have been really pleasing on the eye for the supporters that have turned up today, a full house. And what's the official opening? I know they played Thursday, but today is the official opening of the new stadium, isn't it? Been a great crowd.
Stay with us today. We'll have Manchester United v Leicester City coming up once this one's finished. Keena, a 16-year-old. It's a strange ball from Reece Burke, straight to Zaza. It might be costly. Higuain, is he sharp enough here? Gang of three on him. And is shepherded into a wide area. Collins tried to, I fancy, just have a little dig and stop him there, but Juventus keep the attack moving. And that one is from Piazza, the new signing, just wide.
See, he's no Gareth Bale, is he, Higuain? He can't get away from players, can he? Now, I know there's a couple of weeks left before the Italian league, but he's played the ball in front of him. He can't get away from defenders.
Well, Manchester United and Leicester arriving for duty at Wembley. There's Jose Mourinho. Part of a very interesting lineup of managers today. Wayne Rooney making his way. And by the way, Zlatan Ibrahimovic does start for Manchester United. There he is. I think he's never said no comment in his life, has he? And Leicester City, after their fabulous year last year, it still looks a pretty useful squad, even though they've lost N'Golo Conte to Chelsea. There's Riyad Mahrez arriving. They've managed to keep hold of him so far. And they follow us right after this game here. Northwight's cross-field ball. Bazali has a pretty easy ride since he came on. So the long pre-season campaign is coming towards its end, and we're only a few days away now from the beginning of the real thing. Is everybody ready?
Well, West Ham, they still look a little bit short, obviously, today. No Kayati, no Ayew or Slaven Bilic. That confirmed that was coming to the club. So when they get them players back, and Payet obviously ready to go, I think they'll be more than ready next Monday to take on Chelsea. And today's been a great exercise. I have to say, it's been hot. You know, he's managed to get all the squad, if you like, all 20 players or whatever he brought you, all on the pitch, all had minutes. Good run out for them.
Juventus looking to build down this left-hand side. Here's Hernanes. He's had a good career in Italy, Hernanes. Chiellini. It looks like Andy Carroll's 2 goals are not going to be enough to give West Ham what they wanted from this showpiece game ahead of the new season.
No, I don't think the result today really was probably, you know, imperative, but it's the fitness, and I've certainly got lots of that today.
Yep, all over. Shake of hands between Massimiliano Allegri and Slaven Bilic. Good workout for the two sides. Slaven Bilic got a quarter of an hour or so out of Dimitri Payet at the end of the game. 2 goals for Andy Carroll after Juventus had led 2-0, but it was Simone Zaza who came up with the winner. Nothing for Higuain in his first game in a Juventus shirt. He'll get a lot sharper and fitter, I would say, in the next couple of weeks. Well, he has to, because that's when Serie A starts. So that's it then. The official opening day at West Ham's new stadium ends with the scoreline West Ham 2, Juventus 3.
Well, entertaining stuff here. First game, the opening game for the London Stadium here at the Queen Elizabeth Park. Got Harry Redknapp and Dean Ashton with me.